3 Nigeria Info. This is Hard Facts, and we want to look at some legal facts this hour as we push the conversation for development further. And right now, I want us to look at a conversation that started from our news bulletin yesterday. It started with a couple of lawyers, complaining about the silence of the Attorney General of Rivers State. Now, I pointed that the Attorney General was to put certain things in motion as people in Rivers State. Now, reading from the yesterday, some lawyers raised concerns the silence of the Attorney General just in Rivers State's anger over a recent loss by the Latin-led Assembly lawyer K. Williams alleged that the commission is not taking him because he's ally of the estimates. Now, we know the realities of this situation. Lawyers are advocating that opposite Attorney General and the nation just shouldn't be occupied by the same person. We also had a lawyer speaking this. We also had Vincent Tricks in this. And we're going to listen to them now as we intend to about all the Attorney General can play as the Impasse and it continues in reach. I get via the phone, she's a regular here, but we've not listened from him. Let's quickly send the lawyer who were part of our team yesterday.
That we have that meeting for some. We believe by the assembly and the laws they are making, because local standard is a very strong issue of law. You don't just jump in to file an action where you do not have the right. Then you ask the Attorney General of the state to sue to chart a particular action and he fails. Then the private individual or a legal person will now have the right to sue that action in the name of the state, and that action will be entertained by the court.
To have land.
Exactly. He's the Attorney General of Rivers State. Nobody will question his locus in court because he's the chief law officer of Rivers State. So if he feels that any law is not appropriately made, he has the locus to challenge it. But we don't know where the Attorney General stands. Does he stand with the governor? Does he stand with the House of Assembly member? Does he even stand with Rivers people? And that is why a lot of Nigerian lawyers have advocated that the office of Attorney General should be removed and separated from the Minister of Justice. The Attorney General should be separate so that it will not be under the control of the political system.
I have with me via the phone Professor of Law, Rivers State University, Barrister Richard Nwokocha. Welcome, Prof. It's good to have you once again on Hard Facts. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Welcome, Joe. Right, so you move to what yours say. My first question then be, what really, I'm educating people in Nigeria, what really is the role of the Attorney, because that conversation was a separate Attorney General Commission Minister of the State. What is the role of Attorney General Federation of the State?
And they do send one national within the city other way. They are not the chief officer of the federal declare. So it's very and next position is because and commissioner the general and section 195 of the Constitution, especially subsection 1, says he shall be the chief law officer of the state and commissioner for justice of the government of that state. We have talked of distinction because the commissioner for justice is supposed to be a cabinet member who should be concerned with issues relating to the Ministry of Justice, while the Attorney General is the legal officer of the state who should be concerned with advising the state and in prosecuting causes, criminal causes, and undertaking civil causes in the state.
Prof, when you say advise the state, are you referring to the 3 arms of government, or are you referring to just the executive arm of government?
Well, the day-to-day administration of the government is undertaken by the executive in particular. The House of Assembly, for instance, has its legal advisors and its personnel in that area. However, for the entire government, as you know, government comprises the 3 departments, but the Attorney General does not advise the judiciary. The judiciary is on its own. The legislature is also largely on its own. That's why it has own legal personnel who function as its own officers and who are not under the control of the Attorney General. So the Attorney General is in the executive unit, which is the unit responsible with the execution of law, administration of policies and execution of laws and policies of the government. That is entirely executive responsibility. So the Attorney General is an executive officer. And the commissioners, as you know, are officers in the executive department who are involved in the execution of laws and policies.
Now, the next question I want to ask is, although the Attorney General is in the executive arm of government, is he believed to be neutral, or is he believed to be working for the executive arm of government? Because, like you said, he advises the state. So he tells the state what is good for the state based on legal matters. Is the number one law officer, as you rightly put it. So is it working for the governor? Because the lawyers have made it seem like he's supposed to be on the side of the governor. So I'd like to hear from you on that note.
The Commissioner for Justice is an agent of the governor, exercising part of the powers of the governor. Because execution of laws and policies includes administration of justice. As I said, handling of issues of people who break the law, ensuring that they are brought to justice and all that. Those are not legislative responsibilities, they are not judicial responsibilities. They are bringing them to justice is the responsibility of the executive. So the Commissioner for Justice, like every other commissioner, is an agent exercising the governor's power, and is directly and completely under the control, and should be completely under the control of the governor, because he is exercising governor's power as a delegate of that power. Now, the Attorney General ought to be different. But I just read to you Section 195. It combines the two offices. Says the Attorney General shall be Chief Law Officer and Commissioner for Justice. Attorney General ought to be entirely concerned with prosecutions and such issues of the law. It's an executive power, yes, but the Constitution singles out that particular ministry to mention. No other commissioner or no other office of the commissioner is mentioned by the Constitution. But the essence is to ensure that there is neutrality.
Okay.
The Attorney General ought to be one who is concerned entirely with enforcement of the law. So if anybody breaks the law, including a person in government, he should be brought to justice.
Including the government.
Strictly directed by the law.
Now,
whether a person has fallen foul of the law.
Now, Prof, you've just said including the government. So if the governor, the Attorney General can make him face the wrath of the law, is that what you're saying?
You saw what happened in the United States of America. The issue of Donald Trump.
Okay.
Even when he was in office and there were questions. The Attorney General ought to be that way. It ought to be an office of the state. Almost like a people's Attorney General.
Okay.
A person concerned with enforcement of the law of the land.
Okay.
Notwithstanding who is breaking the law, whether you are a government official or not.
Interesting.
That ought to be the role of the Attorney General. But under our Constitution, both offices are combined. So you have Attorney Generals who are basically commissioners for justice, who are delegates of the governor, carrying out governor's powers and advising the governor where the need arises and all of that. So the offices are combined, and that neutrality is reduced, grossly reduced.
Prof, you're very much aware of the political situation in Rivers State. Four laws were, vetoed into law. They had transmitted it to the governor refused, and they vetoed it. I think we even talked about it on the show. And the lawyers are saying that the Attorney General ought to have been able to challenge these laws. Now, before we even get into all of that, the question I want to ask is, maybe we had the situation, or if we had a situation where there was a difference between the Commissioner and the Attorney General, what would the Attorney General have done, given the political situation we find ourselves in?
But if the offices were separated,
Yeah.
I think there would have been a greater possibility of the scenario you have playing out. Because it would have meant the Attorney General would have been strictly concerned with law and execution of law and order. Execution of law and bringing people to justice, prosecutions, and all of that. That would have been strictly his duty, and it would have been as neutral as possible. But we don't have that. Our constitution says the person shall be Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, meaning that the person is an agent of the governor.
But Prof, I do understand your. But I'm saying, what if? So, how do you think the Attorney General would have acted if they were not combined, but both offices were not combined? How do you think he should have?
If both offices were not combined, that's what I'm saying, that you would have been able to have a separation, something a bit close to what you're having now that my colleagues are calling abnormal. You would have been able to have that because the Attorney General will be concerned strictly with only his own duties, and the Commissioner for Justice would have handled the other parts that colleagues are talking about now. But under our present constitutional system, the Attorney General is also Commissioner for Justice and is the Chief Legal Officer of the state.
So you're saying he would have been
right now there is no room for that neutrality. Because the power the Attorney General exercises is the executive power. It's part of the powers of the governor of the state. And at the federal level, part of the powers of the federal, of the president of the federation.
Okay.
Because he's not just Attorney General, he's also Commissioner for Justice or Minister for Justice at the federal level.
Prof, we do have a commercial break, but the question I'm trying to find out, I'll ask when we come back from the commercial break. Please just stay with me.
All right.
Ready to take I was trying to, get a particular response from you, as to the Attorney General. I mean, given the political situation, you've talked about if the situation during Mr. Justice separate from the office of the Attorney General, that would be more neutrality on the part of the Attorney General. However, that is not. If was would the Attorney General have been able to play a role in the political part? Because you've said that the fact that the Attorney General is part of the governor's cabinet makes it difficult for him to be apolitical. But if he was, would he have been able to play a role on behalf of the state like it's supposed to be? We, like I was saying, could challenge laws that were passed by the assembly, or he could have put the governor in order, because you said it would have been on the legal path. Effective what it is, the played was the commissioner. Yes.
What the Aberdeen with the handle of laws and person of cases. So, any other that is aspect, but then they don't have responsibility for the solution. I think it's a solution, so responsibility is comparison for that man, and even the national flag. It's law. The panel has sent to, and the panel cannot get to a law. Not the can. The exploration. I cannot draw to the need on that. It's still a concern. Law as it in the rest of the created the country. It's a responsibility general.
In this situation, is the lawman veto now? Like what do?
Oh, of course, the state government can challenge any matter or any issue that it feels violates the constitution, including on issues of legislation. They can be challenged, and the action of the state can only be carried out by the chief law officer, which is the Attorney General. So, if, for instance, laws have been passed, of course, the duty of the executive is to execute laws. But if laws have been passed and there are issues about those laws that makes them inconsistent with the constitution, for the executive by the laws, grant point legislation under the constitution are executive powers. You have had attempted legislative amendments that seek to transfer such executive powers. These issues that states are able to take actions against immediately. All of this.
So now that there is
scenario that we have.
Okay. Now that there is silence from the Office of the Attorney General and from the Office of the Commissioner for Justice, now some people say, some lawyers, as we listened not so long ago, say is in the camp of the FCT minister, because of course we know that there are camps now. There are people for Wike, there are people for Fubara. So the question then is, what does this silence imply? I mean, you are a professor of law, you're in the legal profession. What does the silence of both, they're combined, yes, but both the Attorney General and the Commissioner of Justice, there is a silence from both offices. What does this imply in the state?
I think that if we have to be frank and speak frankly, as should be the case always in addressing public issues with the public, we cannot deny the fact that there is a division in the state cabinet. There ought not to be division, because every member of the state cabinet is an appointee of the governor. So we can hardly talk of factions when under the constitution it is the responsibility of the governor to appoint suitable persons that he feels will enable him carry out his executive duties of the government under the constitution. So, but you ordinarily shouldn't have any form of division, but we're all witnesses to what transpired and the crisis that took place, and pledging of loyalty one way or the other, and all of that. But as I said, every appointee of the state cabinet is a delegate of the governor's power and is there at the pleasure of the governor. So it's a bit of a contradiction in terms to talk of a division within a body that is entirely the governor's body.
Okay. I want to ask.
In terms.
I want to ask this
because it lies within the power of the governor to ensure that his house is in order.
Okay. Now I want to draw a scenario where there is a bill sent to the governor, and then he meets the Attorney General for advice, and then the Attorney General says that this bill is good to go, it's okay, there are no issues, but then the governor decides to, refuse assent to the bill. In such a situation, if the lawmakers veto the governor, would the Attorney General do anything about it, or can he do anything about it, given the fact that he is of the opinion that the bills are, splendid, wonderful?
That office is not independent of the government. So if the chief executive feels that there is a legal action that needs to be taken, it is the responsibility, a responsibility shared with the oath of office. It is the responsibility of his agent, the donee of his power, to carry out that instruction. There is no room, there is no argument, there is no dispute. That's why I say you can't have a division within a body, because every appointee is a delegate, is an extension of the governor, and takes instruction from the heart of the government, which is the governor. So there is no such thing as independent position, advisory position, taking distinct from that of the decision of the government under which such officer is serving. There is no room for such distinction in the relationship between members of the executive cabinet or appointees of the executive governor who are carrying out delegated functions, carrying out powers of the governor donated to them. If the governor feels that a position is wrong, it's his decision. If he feels it should be challenged, it's his decision. An advisor can advise, but the advisor does not take the decision. And that's why you can have that kind of scenario you have talked about, where the Attorney General can advise, and the executive governor decides to go against it. It will be unreasonable, it will be risky, but if he does so, he's acting within his powers. And if he feels that something should be challenged, it is the responsibility of the appropriate officer under the law to carry out that challenge.
All right, let's draw open the phone lines. You listening, I'd like to ask you a question. Some lawyers in Rivers State are questioning the silence of Professor Zacchaeus Adango. What do you make of it? After listening to Professor Richard Nwokocha explain the roles of the Attorney General and the Commissioner of Justice and what the Constitution says about, the juxtaposition of these officers, what would you say about the silence? Do you think the silence is the right path to toe in all of this political situation, or do you think Professor Adango should be out there possibly challenging the lawmakers, or possibly bringing the governor to the right path of the law? I'm wondering what your judgment will be, but I'd like to hear from you. 0817 923 0002 and 0817 923 0003. And there is the number 0817 923 0007. Of course, WhatsApp number for WhatsApp messages 0809 0306416. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts, and let's talk for development. This one says, Kalada, ask Prof what he expects the Attorney General to do to protect the state given the political circumstances the executive finds itself. Prof, do you want to try answering that? What the Attorney General can do to protect the state given the political circumstances?
Well, he does do his work, and where a matter is thrown to him for advice, offer a honest advice as a professional that he has been. This Attorney General, not any other one, this Attorney General has proven his mettle under the last administration, and is a distinguished practitioner and academic who has shown his capacity under the last administration. So if any matter is brought to his attention, his simple duty is to advise the state honestly on what to do in the circumstance. But you can't also blame the Attorney General. If no matter has been taken to him, you can't expect him to take over a matter that is not within his power, and so it is something within his sector, because he is a donee of power. That question has to be posed, and then he can give advice. But if no matter is taken to him, then don't be surprised that he's not talking.
So you're saying there's...
Blame him if matters have been taken to him and he offers the wrong advice, or he decides not to offer advice at all for any other reason.
Okay. So you're saying there's the possibility the governor himself may not have taken matters to him, the Attorney General?
It's also possible under the reality of the political situation we have in the state. I mean, those are on the realm of speculation. My point is, what should the Attorney General do in the circumstance? Do his work according to the Constitution and according to his oath of office. Offer professional advice honestly and undertake professional action honestly.
All right. Let's listen to Obed Chima calling from GRA. Obed, welcome.
Thank you very much, Kalada. Good evening.
Yeah.
And good evening to the legal luminary.
Thank you. Good evening, my brother.
Thank you, sir. Kalada, I don't know, you keep asking this question all the time. If the reason is the Attorney General is loyal to the former governor, I don't know how you want people to say it. And that is why some of us were against the governor reappointing this set of commissioners who tendered their resignation. You understand? So if it was the former governor, the Attorney General would have challenged most of these laws. So for me, the only advice I have for him, let it not stand as an impediment of trying to bring down this government down. Let him tender his resignation, because him sitting there not doing his job, is not even advising the governor for what to do. I think the good thing for him is to tender his resignation and leave the office.
All right.
You understand?
Yeah.
You can't be sitting on the government you are not loyal to. You understand? And I don't know why the governor is keeping quiet, not to show the Attorney General exit door. You understand? That is the only thing. Because all the reason expressed by the comments you played show clearly that the Attorney General is not loyal to the government.
But Obed, like Prof said, what if the governor has not, sought the legal advice of the Attorney General? That's also a possibility.
As a chief law officer, you are waiting for the governor to sort for your advice. I don't understand what we're talking about here. He is the one to advise the governor for crying out loud. You don't have to wait for the governor to stop his advice. If truly he wants to work for this government and is loyal to this government, please let him resign.
All right, thank you. Obed, I've got to go. I've got Clinton from Bori. Clinton, welcome. What is on your mind? I'd like to hear from you.
Thank you very much. Good evening to you. And good evening to the Prof.
Yeah, welcome.
The silence of the Attorney General of the state is shocking vis-a-vis the crisis bedeviling the state currently. He is the Attorney General of the state, and we are seeing legal matters surfacing, and not one statement have been made concerning those cases. Again, the governor, we know when they started this issue of resigning and calling them back, we were those speaking out that the governor should not recall these people. You cannot have those people in your cabinet that do not have the same interest with you. These people are working against you every day, and they are sitting in your cabinet. What are they doing there? How will the government progress? So I think the governor should take action, and if need be, bring in a new Attorney General so that I can advise him on what to do. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Clinton. Clinton, thank you. Let's read some messages. This one says, these men should be ashamed of themselves. Sometimes I wonder if it is the air we breathe as black people that affects us. You will never hear them call the chief law officer of the state to go to prison and give lawyers to poor masses who can afford to pay for lawyers to carry their case. Insane clan. If you can't afford a lawyer, government will hire one for you. But here in Rivers State, they're asking him to look into political matters. NS from Woji. Clinton, you just had your say, so I'm going to skip your message. Just says Canada, there are no two ways about it. If the Attorney General of the state can't perform his duty, then he should be fired. I don't expect the governor to still be pampering him because of the unconstitutional peace agreement. It's Rivers State and Rivers people that is losing here, for God's sake. This one says, Canada, good evening. We all know that these commissioners were given to the governor by the acting minister, so don't expect the Commissioner for Justice to work against his master in place of the governor. Nwokocha from Rukboko. Now, remember, I'm not focusing on his role as commissioner, even though they cannot be separated. I'm looking at it from the perspective of an attorney general of the state. Why would you expect the governor to seek advice from an attorney general that is loyal to his political enemy? I think he meant to say it is unwise. This one says the attorney general is loyal to the former governor. I think it is the governor's fault to appoint someone who is not loyal to him. The governor is also aware and can go to the attorney for any advice. Aruti Happiness. Keep those calls coming in. I'd like to get your thoughts. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, and 0817-923-0007. The Attorney General cannot act without the directive of the Governor, Uzoma Chima. Prof, is that true? The Attorney General cannot act without the directive of the Governor?
Certainly. I'm sure everybody understands that. Take, for example, the issue of legislations and government reaction. If the House of Assembly is writing to the governor for us, they don't write or route it through the Attorney General.
Okay.
They write to the governor. It is the governor that will minute on the file to the Attorney General for his advice. So the way it works is that on those matters, the governor will seek the advice of the Attorney General. That is not to say that if the Attorney General also notices anything that is untoward, where there is harmony, where things are the way they should be, that he won't draw the attention of the government to it.
Okay.
In order for the government to direct him on what to do. But I think the simple thing is that there is disharmony. The body is sick and things are not working normally.
All right. This one says good evening. It is good evening, KD. It is clear that the Justice Commissioner is silent because he's an ally of the Estate Minister. Even your guest knows it, but don't want to say it outrightly. Thanks. I'm Celestine from Igbogene, Bayelsa State. I've got Braid. Braid is calling from Mile 1. Braid, welcome. What is on your mind? I'd like to hear from you.
Greetings to Mr. Batu.
All right. Quickly, go straight to the point. I'd like to hear from you.
Thank you for the legal luminary who has told us to tell us about what the chief law officer should have done in this matter. Well, in this matter, I feel that there is a lot of sabotage with the chief law officer. Now, the stance for me is there as a move. Because for anything that has been going on, we've not heard the chief law officer speaking concerning all these issues that is been digmarolling. The chief law officer has never one day said anything. And this is also part of those people that resign and also come again. So for me, the governor or even allow him to be there is even detrimental to Rivers people and the government at large. So yes, it has no any function so long as Chief Comrade, I am great concerned. He's just there as a mole. So for me, the governor should please do away with him.
All right, then.
Bring in some other person that can move forward with concerning the law of the state.
All right, thank you, Braid. Thank you, Braid. I've got Taiwo from Ngbaraja. Taiwo, welcome. What is on your mind? I'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, okay. Good evening.
Yeah,
also, my guidance to the legal in the house. And we have a fortunate situation in our house. Not that they don't know what to do, but unfortunately, I was made to understand that for commissioners to be working or for commissioners to be legitimate, the House have to approve. Ordinarily, the commissioner would have made away with this Attorney General and even some commissioners that are not functional. But the executive, the commissioners, and the State House of Assembly that are there, they are working together. So there's no way the governor will send away this Attorney General and appoint another one, and the House will approve. So I don't know if the lawyer there can help. If there's any other way the governor can do by sending away this Attorney General and another commissioner that is not functional and appoint, and that would be legal, so to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Taiwo. Thank you very much for your thoughts. And this one says, good evening, KD. It's clear that, okay, I think I've read that one. This one says, please, does Nigeria practice true democracy? Oyenuchia Stephen is asking. This one says, good evening, brother, and good evening to the Prof. I'm surprised that I'm surprised that we have Attorney General in Rivers State with all that is happening in the state. As a professor, you resigned last year and you're back again. And if the place is not conducive for you because of your name and your integrity, you have to resign. Because things that are happening in this state, one day people will ask you a question if you are going for a bigger position. So to me, the Attorney General is a loyalist to the former governor of Rivers State. Thank you and bye-bye for now. I do not have enough time. I've got a commercial coming up, so I'm not sure I can take the call. But let's listen to Madam Dota quickly. Madam Dota from Gukana, quickly. You've got 40 seconds. Let's get your thoughts.
Thank you, sir.
All right, quickly. Yeah.
Good day.
Yeah.
Yes. I want to say that as we contribute, the job of an Attorney General, the Commissioner for Justice, is not a job that anybody on the street can just pick up and take. Yes, the lawyer has told us what it is. The governor will minute the file to the commissioner, and the commissioner will work on it. It's not a thing we just talk as if the thing is just somebody passing on the road. We can just bring in. The assembly and the governor are not working together now. That is my problem.
All right.
What kind of contribution do
we've got to go. We've got to go. We've got to go.
Hey, Nana! Welcome, my friend. How are you?
Hajia, it's good to see you too.
Stop Southcase. How about your husband and children in this picture are looking good? See my own children. No money to take care of them, and we still want to enjoy ourselves. I no one get belay again.
Nana, why not be Lydia IUD Smart?
Lydia IUD Smart?
With Lydia IUD, you can have all the children you want and prevent pregnancy from 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years? That must be expensive. Maybe painful to use.
It is not painful or expensive, and you can still give birth or remove anytime you want.
How about Hajia? Where can I get this Lydia IUD?
Just call 7790. It's the call to freedom to enjoyment.
Call 7790 for free today for more information on family planning and pregnancy prevention services.
Everyone says I'm beautiful and bold. They say I'm fashionable, and to crown it up, very confident. And my secret is...
People say I'm good looking, funny, hardworking, and to crown it up, very confident. And my secret is...
So whether in the office or at home,
in the streets or on the dance floor,
anytime, any day, I never lose my confidence. And the secret to my confidence is Wazobia perfume.
Absolutely. Wazobia perfume gives the authenticity and long-lasting fragrance all day. That's my secret confidence.
Wazobia perfume is available in body spray.
Also available in supermarkets and markets near you.
You can also get it on Jumia.
Wazobia perfume, the correct scent.
Simplified movement, Rivers First. The Thanksgiving Planning Committee, on behalf of the Simplified Movement Okrika Local Government Area, heartily welcome the leadership and members of the Simplified Movement to Okrika Local Government Area for the Thanksgiving for the Supreme Court affirmation of the 2023 River State Governorship election victory of His Excellency Sir Simnilai Fubara, GSSRS. Date, Friday 12th April 2024. Venue, Comprehensive Secondary School Field, Ibaka, Okrika. Time, 9 a.m. Obawatam Nobe Boma. Come, let's celebrate God's faithfulness over River State and in the life of our beloved governor. This is signed by Right Honorable Anderson Allison, leader, Simplified Movement of Okrika Local Government.
Talking about for the past 40 minutes thereabouts.
The commentators and people who have dropped lines and those who have spoken, a lot of them have said the truth. The bottom line is that you don't tell somebody what is personal decision. So the issue of action to take, resignation and all of that are personal, and it is the person that takes the decision. So you don't determine that for the person. On the other hand, appointing powers are also personal. personal responsibility. And where those powers rest in somebody, it is difficult to blame any other person for action being done or not being done, because the person who has the power has the decision to make, and it is only he who can take a decision. If he is satisfied with the service he's getting, that is his judgment. If he is not satisfied, that is his judgment, and the only person who can act on it is himself. So in this circumstance, it's difficult to say that we are unhappy with what we have, because somebody has the power to determine the quality of service we get, and if he's not satisfied with it, it rests entirely within his power to know what to do.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Prof, for your time. I do appreciate. Do have yourself a wonderful evening.
Thank you for having me.